Hey everyone, so today we're not just talking about cybersecurity, we're going to deconstruct the master blueprint for it. I'm talking about the CCIE security curriculum. Think of it as the ultimate architectural plan for building a digital world that is, well, truly impenetrable.
So let me ask you this. How would you actually go about building a digital fortress that absolutely cannot be breached? I mean, really think about it. It's not as simple as just buying the best locks or throwing up the thickest walls, right? No way. It's all about having a solid plan, a complete architectural design from the ground up. And that is exactly what the CCIE security certification gives you. It is the blueprint.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to walk through this just like a real construction project. First, we'll lay the foundation. Then we'll secure all the connections and pathways. After that, it's time to build the big walls, get into some advanced threat intelligence, and then finally, we'll pull back and look at the big picture, the master architecture that makes it all work together.
Okay, first things first. Every single great structure, I don't care if it's a skyscraper or a secure network, it has to start with a rock-solid, unshakable foundation. This is the one step you just can't skip. And in the world of cybersecurity, that foundation is all about the core principles.
So before you even think about writing a line of code or configuring a single device, you've got to get these concepts down cold. We're talking about confidentiality, keeping secrets secret. Then there's integrity, making sure your data hasn't been messed with. And of course, availability, making sure everything is up and running for the people who need it. Seriously, this is the bedrock. Everything else we build sits right on top of this.
So, with those principles locked in, it's time to prepare the ground. Think about it. Securing your core infrastructure and your virtualization platforms, that's like leveling the construction site. It's the digital land your fortress is being built on. And then you bring in things like automation and secured CLI management. Well, that's like having the absolute best, most secured tools to manage the whole project efficiently, right from day one.
All right, our foundation is solid. What's next? Well, every fortress needs roads, it needs gates, right? But here's the catch. Every single one of those is a potential weak spot, an entry point for an attacker. So our next big job is to guard every single pathway, coming in and going out.
And the main tool for that job? You guessed it, virtual private networks, or VPNs. Now don't think of these as open public roads. No. The best way to picture them is as your own private armored tunnels that you actually build through the chaos of the public internet. Only the good guys with the right keys can get in. And everything happening inside that tunnel is completely invisible to the outside world.
And the whole process is really logical and super secure. It goes something like this. Someone wants to connect. First, we check their ID. Who are you, and what are you actually allowed to see? Once we've got that all sorted, then we build that custom encrypted tunnel just for them. And only after all of that is done does their data start flowing, totally shielded from any prying eyes.
But, it's not just about protecting against attacks from the outside. You also have to think about what's happening inside the fortress walls. We need to manage traffic safely as it moves between different buildings, let's say. That's where things like secure routing and switching come into play. But yeah, for anyone trying to get in from the outside world, the focus is 100% on secure communications like VPNs.
Okay, pathways are locked down. Now it's time for the really cool part, the most visible part of our fortress, the high, strong walls. This is our perimeter, and it's our first, and you could argue most important, line of defense against whatever's coming at us.
And when we talk about these walls, we're really talking about two key players, firewalls and intrusion prevention systems, or IPS. The firewall, that's the actual stone wall. It makes the big, simple decisions about what traffic can even get close to the gate. But the IPS? Well, those are the vigilant guards walking the top of that wall. They're actively looking for shady behavior and stopping threats cold. You can't just have one. You absolutely need both working together.
But here's the thing, and this is super important. You don't just build a wall, post some guards, and call it a day. That's not how it works. You need a surveillance system. You've got to be constantly monitoring, constantly troubleshooting, and reporting on everything that's happening at your perimeter. Because without that constant vigilance, trust me, even the strongest walls will eventually come down.
All right, so our big walls are up. We're feeling pretty good. But here's the reality check. Modern threats aren't just big, dumb battering rams. They're way more subtle. They're like spies or saboteurs or assassins who are trying to sneak in unnoticed. And to fight that kind of enemy, you have to go way beyond basic defenses. You need advanced threat intelligence.
So what does that look like? Well, a really solid, advanced defense strategy is built on these three pillars.
You got to ask 3 key questions. First, identity management. Who is this person trying to get in, and are they really who they say they are? Second, content security. Okay, what are they bringing with them? Is there some nasty malware hidden inside that file? And third, endpoint security. Is the actual device they're using, their laptop, their phone, is it clean and uncompromised? You have to be able to answer yes to all 3.
And this is where next-gen tools come in. Something like the Cisco Firepower Next Generation IPS is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We're not just talking about a regular guard on the wall anymore. Oh no, this is like a highly trained special ops agent with night vision, thermal imaging, and a direct line to global intelligence networks. It's designed to spot and stop the sneakiest, most sophisticated threats out there.
Okay, so let's recap. We've laid the foundation. We've secured the roads, we've built the walls, and we've got advanced intelligence. Now for the final, and I'd say most crucial phase, we're going to zoom out. We're going to step back from all the individual pieces and finally look at the master blueprint that holds this entire thing together.
And this right here is the absolute heart of the CCIE philosophy. Look, a pile of strong bricks and a bunch of well-trained soldiers, that doesn't make a fortress. What makes it truly strong is the architecture. It's the grand design that makes sure every single component is working with and supporting every other component. That's how you create a system that is so much stronger than just the sum of its parts.
And that's what the CCIE curriculum is all about. It gives you the actual blueprints for these massive domains. We're talking a complete threat defense architecture, a rock-solid identity management architecture, a resilient secure communications architecture. The point is, you're not just a bricklayer anymore, you are the master architect.
And what do you find at the heart of the architect's command center? Yep, you see this theme pop up again: troubleshooting, monitoring, and reporting. But now it's on a whole different level. We're not just watching one wall anymore. This is the central command. It's the big picture, the holistic, top-down view of the entire fortress. It lets you see how all the different systems are working together and lets you make sure the whole structure is healthy and secure.
So if you boil it all down, that's the real journey the CCIE security track takes you on. It's a transformation. It takes you from being a technician, someone who knows how to configure a firewall or set up a VPN, and it turns you into an architect, someone who understands how to design, build, and maintain an entire cohesive security ecosystem.
So look, the blueprint is right there. It's laid out in incredible detail. All the knowledge, all the tech, all the strategies. It's all there for the taking. So really, the only question left is the one you see right now. Are you ready?